Yo, what's up? Welcome to my predictions for UFC Buckley versus Covington. I'm about to just get straight into it with the main event. Colby versus Joaquim. Now, this one, Colby is a decent little underdog here. It could go to decision, and Colby has a decent chance of getting it. But I think his age is enough to say. Plus, Buckley's 170 run's pretty impressive at this point. We haven't really seen his ceiling. I think Buckley's the one to go with. He's looking big ahead of this fight. And I like Colby a lot, but I think Joaquim going to get it done. Round 4 TKO/KO is my prediction. I think there's going to be a lot more grappling in this fight than people expect. Moving on to the co-main event, we got Swanson versus Billy Quarantillo, Cub Swanson. I think we'll be getting the decision here. I think this is going to be one of those fight of the night contender little scraps. This feels like a fight that's already happened. It's one of those, it makes sense. It's understandable matchmaking, and I think it's going to be a fun little fight, primarily taking place on the feet, and I think that is where Cub will get ahead. Billy's younger. He's the favorite in this as well. I think he is a Tampa native, so it's going to be his home crowd, but I don't know. Billy hasn't really done well against top-ranked comp, and I think he loses this one. I think he's going to lose a decision. I think it's going to be close, but I don't think that striking is going to hold up to Cub. I think Cub has shown that he can fight well as an older guy. Billy's getting up there in age now, and we don't really know how it's going to affect him. So I'm taking Cub by decision. Moving on, we got Cap versus Bruno Silva. All we can hope is Cap actually fights, because I was a fan of this man. He had a fun fight with Felipe dos Santos. He had a cool flying knee against, what's his face, that little other dude. His name's slipping my mind at the moment. But yeah, Cap, he made a fan of a lot of us. He said faggot. Now that's pretty cool. Not a lot of people say that word. So, yeah, I think Cap is going to win round 1. TKO. I think Bruno, he hasn't really proven himself. He's still got a lot to show. He could drag this out to a decision. That's my other thought. I think this either ends early or goes to a decision. And yeah, I think Cap got what it takes to do it. And hopefully he says it again. That's all that can be said. Moving on, we got Jacoby versus Vitor Petrino. Now, this one's also very, very close. A lot of people are going to lean Petrino. He's the bigger, more physical, young guy. But looking at the records, I don't really like the decisions with Anton Turcauge. It's not cool, Petrino. And then Jacoby, he's got losses, but they're all to top guys, and a lot of them are interesting decisions, to say the least. I always use this justification, and he somehow ends up losing still. This one, if you're disagreeing with me or finding yourself wanting to, go ahead. Don't let me sway you. This is not one I'm confident on, but I want a good underdog here, and I think Jacoby is that underdog. Moving on, we got Adrian Yanez versus undefeated Daniel Marcos. I'm leaning Yanez. I like Yanez. His boxing's pretty cool. Looks sweet, and I think Marcos could be in for a fraud checking. I think round 2 KO for Yanez. That's what I'm feeling. But, we could see Adrian lose again. I don't know if he gets KO'd in this one or leg kick TKO'd. Might just go to a decision, but I'm just leaning Yanez. Hopefully he can make it back up to the top of the division, because he has a very entertaining style, and I would like to see more of him. Moving on, we have Israel Adesanya's twink homie, Navajo Sterling. Don't tell him I called him a twink homie. Versus some chubby bum who's going to get KO'd. I think round 2. Moving on. We got Atman Atazar versus Michael Johnson. I know it's Atman Atazar, but I'm going to call it Izaitar. Never mind. I don't know. I'm not a hardcore. I'm a casual. As a Itir. As a Tar. Versus Michael Johnson. I think Michael Johnson's going to get this one done. Round 1 KO. Yeah, I don't think Atman Atazar is very good. Otman, I think he sucks. He got KO'd in the round 1 in his last 2 fights. Let's make that a 3 for streak and move on. Jakar Close versus Joel Alvarez. This is going to be a fun fight. I think Close, he's got a very doggy style. He's not very technical, very skilled, but he can kind of will his way to a win in a lot of cases. He's getting up there in age for a lightweight. I think he is 36, and Joel Alvarez is pretty young. And yeah, I got submission round 1 for Alvarez. I think he'll find that, or it'll go late and he'll either get a submission in a later round or a decision. Either way, I think Joel Alvarez is going to get the win. I think Close is getting too old. He hasn't been too active, which I think is going to hold him back a little bit. But he'll probably go on to continue to win and stay in the division for a little bit longer before getting fraud checked. Like this next fight, Sean Woodson versus Fernando Padilla. Remember these words. I came very close to picking Padilla here. I think he has a very solid chance. In his past 2 fights, Woodson has not looked great against Caceres and Charles Jourdain. He has not looked great. I think one of those might have actually been a robbery, if I remember correctly. And it's because I believe they're both taller, and Woodson can't really handle a tall person now. Fernando Padilla is only 1 inch shorter than Woodson. Woodson is 6'2", Padilla is 6'1", on the UFC listing at least. And I think there's a solid chance Padilla could find a finish here, or just decisionate him and get that upset victory. I almost picked him. Came so close, but the slightest of margins told me Padilla fights good early in a fight, and Woodson specializes in a decision, and I don't see him getting an early finish on Woodson, unless I'm remembering my research wrong. But either way, I've determined Woodson is going to a decision. Next, Felipe Lima. That's my boy. Versus Miles Johns. Felipe Lima, my boy. He came in on short notice earlier this year. I predicted him. I saw something in this kid. He was a big underdog. People didn't think he was going to win. He was just some short notice kid from Brazil or wherever the fuck he's from. But I saw something in this blonde Chad of a kid, and I predicted him. And he got the round 3 submission over some Russian dweeb. And he's going to continue his winning ways unless he's on steroids. And this is one of those cases with the... God damn it, he just fought. I'm not great with names. That dude that fought Jack Del Maddalena. The weird head. 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3 quick maths. I can't remember his name. I'm sure you guys all know who I'm talking about. Dude debuted on short notice, fought Maddalena. His name's just fucking slipping me, which is not cool. But yeah, hopefully this guy, Mr. Felipe Lima, is not one of those cases where he's just going to look crap in all of his future fights. And I think Miles Johns, I think he's going to submit him round 3. I see this fight going late. These are 2 quite skilled dudes. And yeah, I think he's going to submit him in round 3, or it'll go to a decision. Either way, Felipe Lima's winning. That's my boy. Mark my words. Next up, my girl, Miranda Maverick. I thought she was cool back when I was first becoming a hardcore fan, quote unquote, watching all the shows top to bottom to top. And yeah, I've always thought Miranda's kind of cool. She aight. And I think she'll win here, a decision. WMMA. I'm not going to tout too hard about her. I don't think she's that great. She's disappointed since my initial fandom. There are certainly women who I have much higher hopes for. Lucindo, that's my girl right there. Lucindo, she just got booked against Lemos. That's going to be a fun fight. It's the kind of fight that both of them, I guess, Lemos and Lucindo excel in, and I think it's going to be fun. Lucindo's going to get to show off her funness again, which is desperately needed after that robbery, potentially, over Rodriguez, depending on what you thought. But yeah, I picked Maverick decision for that one against Jamie Lee Horth, Canadian hoe. Sorry, Jamie, I didn't mean that. It's not like she's watching this. Davy Grant versus Ramon Tavares. Brad Tavares' little brother. Davy's gonna fuck this guy up. Round 1, KO. Davy Grant, I think he's a very slept-on bantamweight. I think this dude, by the time he retires, the real ones will know this is the bantamweight who should have been ranked but was never ranked. You look at his losses, he's only really lost to ranked dudes. He's beaten Jonathan Martinez. I think that was before his win streak that got him ranked, if I remember correctly. The only thing that's really gotten in his way is losses to rising ranked contenders as well as inactivity, because he's getting up there in age, and he's been getting up there in age for a while, but he's still hanging around, which is really impressive. He's only lost to Marlon Vera, forget the others, but yeah. Davy Grant only really lost to ranked dudes. Ramon Tavares is not a ranked dude, and Davy Grant likes him a finish, so I see him getting a finish. Davy Grant is pretty clearly one of those guys who's like right outside the top 15 of bantamweight. All he needs to do is string together a couple of wins and get the right ranked opponent. And he's ranked, but I think as far as fighting level caliber, he's already ranked in my mind. He's already top 15. He's better than guys like Dominic Cruz at this point. Yada, yada. So yeah, Davy Grant, round 1, KO. That's my prediction. And finally, WMMA. Rodriguez versus Knudsen. Knudsen's Swedish, so she wins. See ya. No, we're not done there. But yeah, she's Swedish. I think younger as well. Pick her to win. Cool. But that was my predictions. I just probably didn't hear that too well. I have a shitty mic. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Anything y'all disagree with. How excited are you for the card? How not excited are you for the 4-week break or however long it's going to be? It's going to be awful. It's the worst part of the year for every UFC fan. But Christmas and Santa Claus and the Grinch, and that'll keep us satiated, I guess. Maybe we'll get Santa versus the Grinch this year in a boxing match. That would be so sick. But yeah, I'm done yapping. I'll stop wasting your time. See ya. Use none of what I said on gambling, because I'm retarded. See ya.